Today we're going to look at solving radical equations. 3 steps that we're going to follow. We are going to isolate the radical on one side of the equation. In the next step, we will square both sides to eliminate the radical, and then we solve the equation. Let's look at the example. We will have square root of x plus 4 equals to 15. So the same way as we have been solving linear equation, we want to solve for this x. It have a square root and it has 4. So first of all, we need to get rid of this so that we can able to isolate. We want to make here 0, so we subtract 4, and we have to repeat the same thing on the right hand side. If we do that, this go away, giving us square root of x equals to 15, take away 4, it's going to be 11. So here we take the second step, we say square both sides. So we're going to square to remove the radical. So we will square here, and we will repeat the same thing on the right hand side. When we square, it get rid of the radical away. So it gives us the x here. And then here we get 121, and we are done. Right here we have square root of x minus 3 equals to -5. And we want to solve for x, so we are going to isolate the radical. We need to get rid of this. It's negative. We are going to add the equal number to make it 0, and we have to repeat the same thing on the right hand side. Goes away. Here we have -5 plus 3. The negative is bigger, so the answer have to be negative, so we get 2. Next step, we square the radical to get rid of it. And then -2 times -2 give us 4, and we are done. Okay, our next example, we have a square root x minus 4 plus 3 equals to 7, and we want to solve for x, and we have a radical, so we have to isolate the radical. It's being attached by plus, so we will subtract the equal amount. So we will subtract here 3, and we will repeat the same thing here. This will turn into 0. 7 take away 3 give us 4. The next step is for us to take a square root on both sides. The same thing here. Once we do that, the square root goes away. 4 times 4 give us 16. Here we want to solve for x by half minus 4. We want to make here 0. So we will add here 4, and we'll repeat the same thing here. This will turn into 0. 16 plus 4 give us 20. And we are done. Okay, let's look at the next example. We have 5 plus square root of 3x plus 1 equals to 12. We are still using our steps. At the first step, we have to isolate the radical on one side. We have 5 here, so we need to get rid of it. We have to apply opposite. So here we will subtract 5, because 5 minus 5 will be 0. We have to repeat the same thing here. If we do that, this turn into 0. Square root of 3x plus 1. 12 take away 5 will give us 7. Here the radical is isolated, so we will move on to the next step. We have to take a square root to remove the radical. The square root here, and we will repeat the same thing here. Once we do that, square root goes away. 7 times 7, 49. Now we have to solve this linear equation. We need to get rid of this 1, so we will subtract 1, and we'll repeat the same thing here. This goes away, turn into 0, got 3x. 49 minus 1, 48. Here we divide, it's multiplying, so we divide here. By 3, we repeat the same thing here. This turn into 1. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So we have our next example, -2 plus square root 2n minus 5 equals to 7. So here we need to isolate the radical. It has been touched by -2, so we need to get rid of that. So we will add here 2 to make sure it's 0, and we have to repeat the same thing because we don't want to cause any changes. Do that. The radical 2n minus 5 give us 9 here. Now we square, and we square this, and the radical goes away. 9 times 9, 81. We need to get rid of this negative 5. We want to make it 0, so we add here 5. And repeat the same thing here. It goes away, get our 2n, and we get 86 here. 2n equals to 86. It's multiplying, so we divide. What number are we going to multiply to get 86? Which is when we divide by 2, repeat the same thing here. It's 10 into 1. Our n is equals to 40. We have been given 6 outside square root of 3 equals to square root of x. And they have asked us to find the value of x. So we have to isolate the radical. In this question, we realize that the radical is 2 of them. They are already isolated. So we move on to the next. We take square root on both sides. So we will take a square root here. And we will take a square root here. So here, what is happening is that the 6 is going to be squared. And then this 1 is also going to be squared. We know that when we take a square root of x, we get our x here. We square 6, we get 36. And here, the square root will go away, leaving the 3. Then here, we multiply 36 times 3, give us 108. And that's that. Or you can write it if you want to put it in the standard form. Okay, so we have been asked to solve for this radical equation. We have radical up and down. The first step, we have to isolate. It's already isolated. So we'll move on to our second step. We'll square both sides to eliminate the radical. So we will square here, we'll square here, and square here, square this. When we square, the square root goes away. 3 squared is 9. Every number is over 1, so we can put 1 over here. So here what we are going to do is that we are going to do cross multiplication. Multiply this by this and this by that. So if we do that, we are getting x times 1 equals to 9 times x minus 6 is 2 terms, so I'll cover it with a parenthesis. Okay, we are moving in here, So we got x is equals to 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 6 is negative 54. Here we have to combine like terms. So we'll bring this one over here. So we want to make here 0. Subtract. Repeat the same thing here. Here there is 1. We don't write it, but we can put it in there. So 1 minus 9 is going to give us negative 8x. Here we get negative 54. Because this one will turn into 0. We divide here by negative 8. Repeat the same thing here. And we get positive 9. Okay, so what about if we have a cubic root? The same thing here. So we isolate the radical already on one side. Because it's a cubic root, we will cube. So we will cube here. We are just applying the opposite inverse, and then we will repeat the same thing here. Once we do that, get that. 3 times 3 times 3 give us 27. We add here 5 to get rid of it. We repeat the same thing here. It's turning into 0. 2x equals to 32. We divide here by 2. Divide here by 2. We get 16. Okay, we have been asked to solve this radical. So the first step is for us to isolate. It's already been isolated. The next step is for us to square. So we will square. And we will square here. Once we square that, this comes here. Now realize that this becomes a binomial expansion. So we are going to get a quadratic in this question. So let's go ahead and do that. We can use FOIL or Pascal's principle to expand this, and I have covered all of this in this videos. I have video on that, so you can check it out. So here we multiply this, we get x squared. Multiply this, we get negative 6x. Multiply this, we get another negative 6x. Multiply that, and we get 36. So the middle is like terms. As a quadratic, we have to bring all of them to one side. So we'll bring this one full here, so that means here, and that comes right under here. So we will get x squared minus 15x plus 36 equals to 0. Now we have to solve this quadratic. So we take our 36 and we are looking for two numbers to multiply, you get 36. And when you add, you have to get negative 15. So the numbers that we can manipulate to get that is going to be 3 and 12. So if we put negative, negative, we multiply these two numbers, we get positive 36, and when we add it, we get negative 15. So it satisfies the equation, so we can put it here as such. So when these are the factors, and the solution is going to be x is equals to 3 and x is equals to 12. So this is the solution that we will get. We can plug it out in there into the original equation to see if all of it satisfied. So when we plug it back in there, we realize that 3 we will reject 3 because it is what? Extraneous. It is extraneous solution. It's a solution, but when we put it back, it doesn't satisfy, so we call it extraneous solution, and we will accept x equals to 12 as a solution. Please like it and subscribe if you haven't done so. See you in the next video.